Good afternoon. Okay, this week's focus, open top actions. Oh, that's interesting. So, I know this is kind of pedantic, but I kind of would want, if I'm opening top actions, that I would go to top actions, would be at the front of the scroll. How recovery works. Oh, interesting. I think that it would be great to have like a little question mark icon here because I didn't know that this was clickable and I didn't know what was going on. So it might be nice to have like a little I info icon or a question mark here. Um, yeah. Okay. Top action. What we look for. Okay. I like that. Um, so if we're gonna push the score, we should, well, if we're gonna do it, we should name it. Like, what is this kind of doing, hanging out in the corner there? A plus. It needs a heading. This week's scorecard. But 1 out of 7 targets hit. How could that be 94 out of 100 or an A plus? Maybe I'll view that while I'm at it. Okay, clinic health score. Excellent. Okay. Okay, and it's red because it's down 4 grand. It's red because it's up 140. Total revenue red. Okay. Yeah, I guess it feels a bit weird that everything is red here, but it's telling me that my financial outlook is excellent. My financial score, maybe we even name it financial score if this is the scorecard. Um, and then what happens when I do that? View full analysis. Okay. Already there's a lot in here, and I worry that it becomes kind of a labyrinth of information. I haven't actually spent enough time with the product to know that. And I guess there are some people who want to go deep, deep, deep. But here we are. Financial. What is this AI Insights? Isn't the whole thing AI Insights? I don't know. I'm I know the irony of me working on this product, but I'm still so resistant to the wisdom of AI. I don't think it's wise at all, so I don't like the idea of telling me that these are AI's insights. Even though, like, let me suspend disbelief and believe that you, Rob, are behind every single code here and have thought it through every single thing closely. Um, financial financials monitor. I don't. There's something I don't like this bit. It feels like it's hanging. I don't know what it wants me to do. There's like too many numbers. Are they the same numbers as these ones? Yes. I think so because I recognize 112, 22. Um, consider reviewing service pricing or increasing. Okay. I would rather this be up here. I would rather it, like, I don't know. It just seems like it kind of doesn't belong down here. Or again, there's this, like, it's 92%, it's excellent, and then there's all this red, and now you've got this yellow, and it's also different sizes and different fonts, and it just doesn't really feel cohesive. I'm not really sure what's happening here. Um, maybe rename it key takeaways. And again, why does it have financials here? Because we're already on the financial section. Okay. Income categories, private, neurological, S&C. Okay. That's cool that they show all of that. Can I have a pie chart? Just showing that rather than individual. I'd like a pie chart there, please. Revenue by discipline. Might be nice to have a pie chart there too. I don't know what happened there. Something weird happened when I went to revenue by discipline. Weird. Okay, financial, income categories. Oh, maybe it's there. Revenue by discipline. It's because I pressed show less, not show more. Okay, my bad. Growth. How is that different from financials? I don't know. So this is actually the money. Okay, and then the growth, patient activity, patient volume. Okay. Is growth the right word here? Because we're talking about patient activity, not necessarily growth. There's cancellations. I don't know. I like that you can set target here. Honestly, though, I don't know that this is accessible for somebody to go through on their own without knowing what this all is. It might require a deep orientation. And if that is the case, as Raj says, it shouldn't require a video tutorial. So just because we can have the data, do we need the data and do we present it, or are we kind of diluting the power of the product by having so much data? And there's a fine line, right? Because you want to be able to drill down and see things. But yeah, I'm not saying this is bad. I'm just thinking out loud about, yeah. Okay, operations. So this is, it's resources and time slots. I don't know what we mean by resources here, but time slots, that makes sense. How is cancellation rate here different from cancellations here? What's the difference? I'm not sure. And then recovery. Why is this brown? Is that different from red? Is it? I don't know. I just don't know why this is brown and what this means. How well your clinic is protecting earned revenue, policy health, patient retention, and attendance risk. Yeah, I don't really know what this means. I know you're explaining it here, but I'm conflating it with revenue recovery, so I don't know if recovery is the right word. Okay, moving back. I don't know. It's probably my computer that's slow, but yeah, so we need some sort of, maybe we call it clinics, scorecard snapshot or something like that. And then like your clinic is doing great. But again, 1 out of 7 targets hit. Doesn't feel like it's warranting of an A+, so curious about where that comes from. Okay, revenue for this week, utilization, appointments. Okay, I like this. I really like that. Provider performance, top 3 by revenue this week. Yeah, that could be interesting. Again, we might want to change this to practitioner performance. We're double checking these with you for your first 30 days. What does that mean? Are we not double checking things after the first 30 days? I think that this is referencing this calibration check that we're celebrating or suggesting that we do. Not sure, but this feels weird. Next week. Okay, this is not clickable. Maybe I want this to take me to Jane next week appointment view. Okay, while we're here, let's go into provider performance or practitioner performance. Maybe with when you're doing I'm happy to be on the calls with you when we're doing our renewal meetings and check-ins. We can poll existing clients to figure out, or customers to figure out, if they are using provider or practitioner, if it matters. One provider needs attention. Okay, status top. Okay, treatment revenue, total compensation. This is how much they're taking home. Okay, based on the fee split. Average fee per client per hour, and revenue per hour. I don't know if this is just my view, but it's cut off here. Okay, it's not so much anymore. Can I go like that? Yeah, great. Utilization. No show rate. That's great. I wasn't sure that I could actually scroll over. So the last couple columns I didn't know were there, like utilization and no-show rate. So maybe we could have some sort of navigation cursor up here so that people can see that they can navigate that. Okay, so Mr. Julian Brown Latham is there, but his utilization is better than Kristen, so why isn't Kristen up there? And what happens when I go manage? It looks like I should, oh, there we go. Manage your settings and preferences. Huh, that's an interesting, it's interesting that it took me there. Why did it take me there? Because maybe it was managing the settings? Like, maybe there needs to be a little heading to be like, provider performance could appear low because of your working agreements or contracts, or like level of full-time. Manage settings here to exclude this provider, or to indicate caveats or something like that. This manage on its own just feels a bit weird. Okay, we can search provider by discipline, by status. So can I do all of these at once? Is that why there's a plus here? Like, can I do personal training, apply, status, top performer, apply? Oh, weird. This is a bit clunky. And how do I not apply? How do I refresh? Oh, I go like that. Okay. There's the X. Oh, the X and the plus. Okay. Yeah, this bit isn't the most intuitive, but people can figure it out. Cards, table. Okay. Oh, you can see it like that, or a table. Okay. Export columns. Oh, okay. That's good to know. Yeah, again, it would be great to have some sort of navigation bar up there. Low utilization. Yeah, okay, I really like that. It's great that you can do that. Love it, love it, love it. Providers. And then you can do monthly or weekly. That's cool. Okay, I like that. Navigating back to home. What we're watching. I don't like what we're watching. What are we trying to say here? To watch, or to noteworthy or of note? I don't know. I just don't like the what we're watching. That feels weird. That makes it feel more robot-like. Okay, critical. Patients have appointments after their insurance auth expires. Why don't we just say authorization? None, like it's full sentence. It's sentence case here, so I think we should say full authorization. If they're seen, the insurer won't pay. Okay, it's good to know. Review, and hopefully this is going to take me to all of those patients. It doesn't. It takes me back to home. So, just note there that I would hope that this would take me, and maybe even say see patients. But Mr. R, yeah. Okay, if this is interesting. Okay, so Mr. R has already booked. That's why he's there. Okay. Yeah, so we need to make sure that that review actually takes it to a page or Jane or something, not just back to the home page. Top actions this week. Yeah, what's the difference? Maybe we switch top actions and then like on the radar or something like that, on the radar. If these are what you actually want people to do, then it should be higher than what we're watching. Or like action radar or something. One policy, is that Mr. R, I wonder? Also interesting that sometimes you have to click the arrow, sometimes you can just click on the card. It would be nice to have some continuity there if possible. Resolve appointment pass. Okay, so it's not saying who it is here. Honestly, I love the idea of recovery watchdog. Maybe that's the language that we use for like on our radar. Okay, and then what happens here? Resolve appointment past policy coverage. Yeah, there's patient/task, but how do I get to the actual account? I don't know. That's kind of weird. Okay. So that top action took me to revenue recovery. Okay. 28 unbilled services need review. So it feels like this is the same thing up top, though it existed in the last one, even though that one is for insurance policy and or insurance authorization expired, and now this is unbilled services, and it's the same card right below. That feels a bit weird to me. Maybe it isn't the same. Maybe it's just the recovery watchdog, and I'm assuming it's the same because it's still called the recovery watchdog, even though here we're talking about revenue recovery or unbilled services rather. Yeah, okay, like this feels good and it feels familiar to me. Clear it in Jane without portal interaction. Is that important to note? I'm not sure. Okay. All right, and then so these are unbilled services, but I can navigate to anything else. Provider gaps. Okay, yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Even when we're looking at whether it's unbilled services, policy coverage, the recovery watchdog stays the same. Do we want it to? Because is there a disconnect between what I'm actually looking for and this information? And therefore, do I want to see that every time? I'm not sure. I also don't know what to do with this. 161 billed issues tracked. So it's tracked, and what are we supposed to do with it? Confirmed by your team? I don't know. Maybe I don't like this section. I don't totally understand it. And I'm trying to not try too hard to understand it, so that I'm having my kind of like unfiltered, like I'm trying to be my laziest self possible here, to emulate somebody who's exhausted and frustrated about having to learn a new dashboard. Okay, so where were we? Okay. Top actions this week. Okay, that'll take me, and so this will take me to the revenue recovery. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. So next I want to go to insights, monitor clinic performance over time. You described to somebody what the difference between insights and reports was this week. I think we should actually have that verbiage here. Again, snapshots versus growth. I'm angry that there's growth here. What does this mean? It's all insights. And it like this to me is comparing apples and oranges, and I want to see it apples and apples if there's two things within the same heading, if that makes sense, right? I want to see snapshots versus in-depth. To me, those are two apples. Snapshots and then growth, it's apples and oranges, and there's like this disconnect that is hard for my brain to understand. It's not obvious what we mean. Okay, so King's Cross Physiotherapy collected. Great, I like that. At a glance, amazing. Great. Okay, we can see that monthly and we can see it annually. Okay, I'm happy with the Insights tab. Now growth. Again, I feel like I just don't know what I'm looking at here and why it's different from the snapshots. Because if I want to see my growth over time, I can just go annual and then scroll down and see their year in review, right? I can see that. Versus growth. Oh, and is this in the year? I wonder, because I've got it annual. No, it's gone down to weekly. It's showing data from new patients referral. Okay, so this is how much I have grown in the past year or in the past 6 months. Okay, so yes, in the past 6 months, in the past 12 months. I didn't actually see this. I think maybe this should be over here, or I don't know. Took me a minute. Okay, so I can see what if the clinic's not actually growing and this is more of a performance, like a business performance rather than business growth? Because what if this goes down? Then it's not growth. I don't know. There's just it's not clear to me. I don't love these two side by side. But what I'm seeing here is the kind of the report card, but then again, how is this different from the scorecard? And are we just repeating things? I don't know. Already, I know this product pretty well, and I'm like, wait a minute, didn't I just see this shit in the scorecard? But now I have to go back and double check to make sure that it's the same thing. Financials, operations, growth, recovery. Okay, versus, what am I looking here at growth? Referral, revenue. This is more, well, we are looking at new patients and revenue, booking momentum. I don't know. I think we really need to think about whether we want things doubled up if they don't need to be. I like the way that this is a snap, like you can see it. I was going to say a snapshot. It's not part of the snapshot though. Weekly snapshot. This is change if I say monthly. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't know that we need to have these two different tabs and how they're different. I'm still not clear. Again, I'm trying to not have to think too hard about it. Right now I'm just like, this is just so much data and it's not necessarily helpful. It's almost like data as individual stars in the skies. I need the mythology, I need the legend in order for me to make sense of it. And right now we have not provided the structure of the myth that allows me to make sense of all of the data points that you're providing me. So reports, I get that. Looks good so far. Then we've got goals. Okay, this is where we early access track progress. Yeah, I think that we can do a little bit more in this page to coach them into how to set goals. And then revenue recovery. We know this, we've already been there. Fall offs. Do we want to call it fall offs? I don't think so. I think it's more like tasks, right? Operational tasks that we need to do. Priority breakdown. Okay. What makes them a priority? And I want to be able to click through on these ones and I can't. Oh, I could there. That's cool. But I can't here and I can't here and I can't there. Okay. Yeah, I think we can do a little bit more formatting. I'm just thinking about myself as like a front desk staff. What am I doing here? There needs to be some sort of header, which is like maybe the daily to-dos or, action priorities or something like that. I don't know that we've also got this, we're calling them fall-offs here and then follow-ups. That's not necessarily what we're doing. This is like front desk tasks, so maybe we think about renaming that. Account settings, I think this is probably pretty standard. But yeah, there's so much great stuff in here. We might have too much stuff, or we might need a little bit of storytelling to help contextualize the data that we are providing in order to make it really user friendly. And I think that having the right power and capabilities is so important, and you're doing such a good job at that, and we're getting there. The next bit is going to be that user experiencing it and kind of stripping it back to be like, okay, what is helpful and what is too much, and let's take on the challenge of making it so that everything is helpful and none of it is too much. And if it feels too overwhelming, well, then we have some more massaging to do. But overall, I think it's great. It's come so far. I'm stoked.